Hey Starseeds, welcome to Starseed Energetics. I'm going to do a collective Starseed reading for the lunar eclipse that is going to be a full blood moon and the longest blood moon in a century. And while this, cosmic cycle is rather significant, you're probably starting to realize these huge cosmic events are happening like every month or like every week even. There's always like some next level of cosmic event that is happening, and this is on a macrocosmic level. It's not only about the cosmos, but it's also just a reflection of our microcosmic changes, our personal changes, your personal changes, and how that's being reflected. And we can always manifest the next huge cosmic cycle, and it's probably going to happen more and more and more and more until it's like every hour. Like I say, synchronicity is going to be our new marker of time. Rather than certain times marking synchronicities are going to mark time in our future. That's what I believe fifth dimension is going to be like. So this reading is more or less timeless, and a lot of my viewers who's been subscribed to me for a while now, some of their favorite things are timeless readings, so I do want to honor that. But at the same time, it carries this energy of the lunar eclipse and this blood moon eclipse, and this has a lot of Martian influence, which is the area of this masculine energy, and also this kind of anger and rage, because this fiery energy can build up to that. And so it's going to be a rather emotionally challenging one for many of us. So you might be finding yourself to be rather irritated about things, a lot of triggers coming up, and some of your most subconscious challenges springing up to be resolved. And all you need to do is be centered throughout all of this. If you're watching this, you're probably having a very similar timeline as I am, where personally I feel that these ups and downs that I go through before, when in my ascension journey, it was more like I had an intense up for a couple of weeks and then an intense down for a couple of weeks, or even every few days. But now it's coming to a point where I resolve through these ups and downs multiple times a day, and so I'm able to touch base with my pure resonance at least few times a day, even if I'm having a negative situation. I'm learning to really go through these more effortlessly, and I think that's just a tremendous sign of growth. So if you resonate with my words, I'm just reiterating what you already know, and for a lot of people that really helps. So there's that. So this whole lunar eclipse with, I'm just like way too easy the cards. This whole lunar eclipse is almost like celestially a brand new year. It's like a new year, New Year's. So, calendrical date is actually very much abnormal. Our years are supposed to be more fluid, sort of like the lunar calendar, but even the lunar calendar isn't so suitable for our life because it's only based on the moon, right? So this lunar eclipse marks this brand new paradigm, and it's a fresh new start. And I'm pretty sure all of you, at least most of you, will completely agree with this fact that this is a brand new paradigm. It's a brand new world. And I know we keep saying that over and over again throughout various different timelines and various different portals, but it's literally like true. Like every single time that we've been saying it, it's been like a brand new year. And it's not like when we say we're stepping into a new paradigm, it's never been like we step into a new paradigm and then we go through this linear timeline where we step into the next paradigm. No, it's more like a fractal. So if you know the Mandelbrot sequence, if you search how Mandelbrot sequence looks as a fractal, it's literally like this never-ending, like zooming out of the same pattern over and over and over again. So it's more like this holographic fractal pattern as a stepping up to the new paradigm rather than being a linear thing. So if you think of it that way, plus how the time is speeding up, because time, the experience of time is actually marked by the amount of events that are in it. So amount of synchronicities that are in this interfaces, this complex interfaces. So because we're getting more evolved, and evolution is simply this syntropy of complexity. When more and more complexity becomes synthesized into symbiosis, that's actually evolution, rather than one being becoming a next kind of superhuman or whatever. It's actually when the various different aspects of reality become more and more symbiotic. So what is this new paradigm all about? This is just really great news. Interesting energy. I always love when the Judgment card comes up with the Temperance card, because there's such a parallel between these two angels. And I know for a fact that this is Archangel Gabriel. And to me, so when it comes to ascended beings and different higher dimensional energies, it's always kind of convoluted, the relationship they have with each other and how they play out in different energies for various people. But for me, the ascended being, the ascended master Hilarion, who is a Kohan of the Emerald Ray, is very much associated with Gabriel, like to my personal experience. And this is a marking of that energy, which Hilarion is actually part of his ray is wealth. And wealth in a sense that is the expression of abundance, which is a manifestation of infinite possibilities, infinite probabilities, and infinite resources that we naturally have. So that comes up. Oh my god, you guys don't understand. Look at this. This almost makes me want to cry, because we have, it makes me so emotional. We have this Judgment card coming up with the Lovers, and look at these angels, and then it also comes with, look at the synchronicity of these angels. So I think that these archangels, like, you are so supported by these light beings, these angels, they're just, I don't even have words for this, but just look at how they came up in the same sequence. And it's almost like they're the, I don't know what you call those, like doulas, when you have birth and people are helping the mother give birth. So if the mother is this new paradigm, this new Gaia, like Mother Earth is giving birth to your new life and the brand new you, as in this entire reality that you experience, because you're not only this human being that is having this subjectivity, you're actually this package of environmental influences. If they took a snapshot of you as an experience, you're kind of like this complex of energies of giving and taking between your subjective experience and your environment. And so you're kind of this undefined boundary. And that is changing, like your relationship between you and the external world, internal and external world, is changing. And as a result, your entire life, as well as the collective, as well as the environment, is changing. And it's almost like you don't have to fear, you know, because your experience of birth was traumatizing as a human being on the third density when you were being born, because you had this sensation of separation and you were so dependent on your parents for survival when you were an infant. You have this trauma, but because you are going through this higher dimensional rebirth, like onto the fifth dimension, your birth isn't going to have the similar experience that you had in the third density. It's going to be just a very supported kind of energetic grace from these light beings, these angels. They're going to just surround you, and this is where this one card comes up that exemplifies this PTSD from your birth experience from the third dimension. So you're kind of like really afraid and you're traumatized from the previous experience, but this message is you should not be concerned because you have all of these angelic beings helping with this rebirth. There's nothing to worry about. And even just look at this. So this Temperance card is usually talking about your energy and your cultivation of patience, which, yeah, sure, goes with this whole Martian energy. But for me, this is like you have this angelic higher self being. Imagine if you walk around and you as a human just feel like you're this isolated individual walking around, but on an astral and etheric levels, you have like 300,000 angels following around everywhere, supporting you, and you just have no idea because you can't see it, but they're just there. And there's just this immense kind of balance that they're doing energetically for you so that it is graceful. And then this is also coming with the Lovers, so this is like they're balancing out the feminine and masculine polarities, like helping you balance this out so that you can become this more integrated androgynous being, a light being that is transcendent of this kind of gender stereotypes from humanity. So I feel that most of you who are tuning into this message, especially on my channel, you are going to be experiencing this paradigm where your personality and your internal self is genderless. Like you don't feel a type of way. Even if you can go ahead and look any kind of way you want to, you feel like this genderless being. And what's also shown to me here is this integration of how you experience the internal and external world. And the relationship, the convoluted relationship between your emotions and your thoughts and these feelings, all of it is just kind of ordering itself out into a new paradigm. And this is the judgment of all that you have ever experienced, and in terms of billions of lives that you've had so far, this is the culmination point where you are finally seeing how it's going to pan out and why you've decided to do this in the first place. I mean, I'm not sure if you've watched my interview with Daniel Scranton, but they talk about how they want to incarnate into the human cycle or this third dimensional cycle solely because of the way it feels to break out of it. It's almost like, I said this to a personal reading to somebody before, but I remember I was watching this comedy show with this like Korean celebrity who was talking about how he would go out in the heat of the summer. He would just like go and sweat, and when he gets home he'll just go and take a hot shower to get his body temperature to a really, really hot degree, just so that he could sit down and like drink a cold beer. And then this relief that they feel is like so awesome that they will go and do that. Not that it's like that for us, but that's almost like why we decided to have this experience. And the thing is, we're done with the sweating, we're done with the hot shower, we're done with the sauna, and now we're about to have a cold drink. For real. I'm just using that as an example. In the middle, oh my god, this makes me so emotional. An energy that's coming up really heavily is the Pleiades. I know, like, the correct way of saying these various different star systems are not how I say it. I'm very aware of that. For example, when I say Arcturus, I don't think anybody says Arcturus. People say Arcturus or Arcturus, Arcturian, but I always say Arcturian. And I think Lemuria, nobody says it like that. They say Lemuria or something, but I always say Lemuria. And it just comes out that way. And even Pleiades, I think people say Pleiades, but I always say Pleiades. And I think it's just like, I don't know why, but to me, it resonates more for me to say it in those ways. And I think it probably does trigger some people, but no, nobody's actually said anything. They probably think it's cute. You guys probably think it's cute because you guys are so like loving and nice and kind. But yeah, I'm very aware that you're not supposed to say it in those ways. But I also feel like that's just how I'm inclined to say it, so I just say it. It's almost like light language, like it doesn't make any sense, right? Wait till we see these cards. So the first one in the center of the reading, this new birth. Okay, so let's talk about this beginning of this new birth, right? Guided by these 3 archangels. What is getting birthed, first of all, is this star. So the reason why I said this is like the Pleiadians is because Pleiadians is because that's just the very deep message that's coming through, along with this Knight of Cups card, which is, to me, Pleiadians are just very watery, and they have this very loving, gentle vibe. Any kind of Pleiadian activation, or when I see Pleiadian light ships in the sky, it makes me cry like no other. Like what they do is like really activate this, I guess, almost like an embrace of sorrow, because they don't experience sorrow as deeply as humans do. And what happens when Pleiadian starseeds come onto the earth is that they have a really hard time processing sorrow as an emotion, because it's not something that they're used to feeling. And me, knowing that I had a lot of Pleiadian heritages, this was one of the biggest things too, is I used to suppress my tears up until I had my first Vipassana retreat, where I was forced to sit with all of the blocked emotions and really feel them in until I just bawled out for days. Like I could not stop crying because my tears were activated. But that's almost like how Pleiadians feel, is they have this need to accept and experience and process sorrow. And so whenever I see Pleiadians, it's not just about finding my light family, because when I see Arcturian starships or Syrian starships, that I immediately recognize their heritage, usually from intuition, and then it gets validated through external resources later on. If I ask somebody, or if I see a picture of the exact same like kind of shape, and then I'm like, what is this? And then it's like that Arcturian or Syrian or whatever. I don't cry like that. I don't cry, like, even though Arcturus is my main kind of resonance, it doesn't make me cry. It just makes me kind of the emotion that I feel is like wonder, like an awe, and like this immense safety and expansion and elevation of consciousness, rather than this gentle, emotional, loving tears. But whenever I listen to Pleiadian music, like when I know that the musicians who made the songs are Pleiadian, because they make me cry like this. Anyway, I went on a huge tangent, but I feel like that was relevant for some of you guys to hear. But yeah, that is this, like, look at this flowing water, just this flowing waters, and this Knight of Cups. So this Knight of Cups is how I would actually describe Pleiadian energy. I feel like Pleiadian starseeds are very Knight of Cups, and this is an offer of love, and they have this gentle, soothing love to offer to the world. And this really cute. Even look at this like horse. It's like almost a unicorn. It's just like this nice plump horse. If you look at any other kind of knights, they don't have this kind of horse. They have like really intense horses like this. Look at the Knight of Swords horse. It's like freaking the opposite. It's like a wild beast. This is the kind of energy that is coming through you, and this paradigm that you are experiencing. And do you know what comes with that is the Ace of Pentacles. So to me, it's like this new economy is blossoming, and sure, we're gonna have a new means of trading resources and, you know, cryptocurrency. When it comes to things like cryptocurrency, or people like Elon Musk who are building rockets to go to Mars, people say, oh, it's not very feasible to this current model of reality. But you know what I say to them is, it doesn't matter if it's going to work out, because it's priming us for an open level of mind. Like, it's priming us to accept something new. Yeah, sure, Elon Musk's rockets are probably not going to make it, because scalar technology is way more advanced and more efficient. So that's good. But the mass society, they're not ready for scalar technology. So the best thing to prime them for that kind of scalar technology is to have people like Elon Musk to talk about rockets and sending them to Mars. And then when their mind is more open and lubricated to accept things like scalar technology, then that's like a linear progression. So it doesn't matter. Elon Musk is probably just listening to his higher self and building these things, and it doesn't matter if they work out. But same with cryptocurrency. A lot of people, especially in the economic industry, you know, people who work with finances, they will say like, cryptocurrency, we don't know if that's going to be feasible in our lifetime. Well, little do they know that our quantum shifts are going to happen regardless of if they like it or not. But even so, it's a step towards something that will work even better. It's priming people to accept this idea. So sure, we're going to a new paradigm of economy in the next, I don't know, decade or more. But I always like to have a shorter timeline. That's just better for the mind to accept changes, to be flexible, to have this neuroplasticity. It doesn't matter what the actual timeline is. It just matters that we kind of exercise our minds. So let's just say this new model of economy is coming within the next 10 years. Then it's going to be more in alignment with this loving energy rather than this like dualistic scarcity versus like massive riches that people can't even, like, if you are an empath and you touch a stack of money, it like has this frequency of like lack mentality, greed, like dark magic, like all of these different things. But we're not going to have that anymore. We're just going to have a more beautiful way of experiencing this kind of physicality that has to do with this channeling of love. And it's so beautiful that the first two cards that came in was this Star and this Ace of Pentacles. And this is kind of like the first time that these came up. Like, out of the billion readings that I've done, I don't think it's come up like this obviously, how this star of the divine spirituality is being paralleled to the visual symbol of this pentacle, and it's like being channeled into this. It's like this was on the top, so it's almost like this star is getting channeled into with this flowing water of the etheric realms. Like, it's coming into form, in the new form. And what you are going to try to grasp is you are not going to wait for this change, because what's going to happen is, as a starseed, I always say, if you're watching this and if you're a starseed and you're resonating with what I'm saying, then you're definitely like a collective example built within a person to exemplify this social change that's going to occur. So what's going to happen is you're going to first learn to handle this current model of economy with this level of love and transmute our current currency with this level of love. So what will happen is, before our economy shifts, you're going to learn to get really fucking wealthy with this current model of currency, because what you'll do then is you'll transmute the level of currency that you touch based on your frequency. And if you are wondering, if you're a very sensitive person and you're doing all the right things to have material abundance, and you ever wonder why you're not getting as abundant as you can get and as you feel, a big reason could be, one of the reasons could be that this currency that you handle has so much frequency of lower vibration. So until you learn to transmute very effectively, transmute all energies very effectively, and forgive everything that ever happened in this dimension, because then when you can forgive all those people and all these things that happened, then that's a symbol of you being able to transmute all that currency as well, because those currencies hold all those vibrations. So that could be a reason why, because you couldn't possibly handle, imagine having $1 million or $5 million or $50 million when the level of the low frequencies that were attached to that from the collective, handling all that money, because currency is always circulating through everyone. And if you're the kind of person who can't sit in public transportation when it's full because you could feel everyone's energy and it freaks you out, that's exactly the same as having a lot of money. Like, how are you going to handle that? So building on your physical body and you're able to transmute stuff is really going to help you gain wealth. And that's what you're learning to do, is with this new level of physical life and your new relationship to this dimension. And as you're, you know, getting refined more and more, you're going to be able to do this, and you are going to laugh, because the last cards are all these pentacles. And look at this. So this is the King of Pentacles, which is this person that you're going to become. So it doesn't matter if it's a gender. Like, the King of Pentacles just means the top of the pentacle chain, or the top of the pentacles fractal. I don't want to call it a chain. That's just so third dimensional. That is just so third dimensional. You're going to become this person who can manage these things, because you've learned to transmute everything. And so there's this motivation for you, if you know, this money, vice versa, with this energy transmutation, you're going to become this person. And then you have this Ten of Pentacles, which is just like the wealthiest it could possibly get. And can you just see, like, I know a lot of you already read your own tarot cards, so you know the meanings of these cards, but like the fact that these came up with this and then these three angels, like, it's just like the best possible. If I were to manually pick out good cards, I couldn't even put it like this perfectly, because it probably wouldn't have occurred to me that this configuration is even possible. Like, this is not a linear thing. This is just the universe slapping you in the face. I'm just joking. It's not slapping you in the face. It's like hugging you in the face and telling you, like, look what's happening. Like, wake the fuck up. Like, it doesn't get any better than this. So the last kind of card that I have here is your motivation to just get through whatever you're experiencing right now. Let this, all of this energy and this light and this love that I'm sending you through this message from the collective of Galactic Federation of Light and the solar frequencies and all the love that exists in the universe, let it guide you. And this Knight of Swords is a card of kind of like not giving a flying F about what obstacles are ahead. This is kind of like this energy of acting before you think. I know that this is a very mental energy, but this is all about going for it, and just don't be concerned. Look how fast he's running, you know, just charge ahead, because the outcome has no choice but to be ending up like this. There's no other option that is presented here. This is where you're headed, and it's clear. So even if you can't physically see what's about to happen, this is the reading and this is the message. And I only use cards to kind of anchor the messages. It's not that I read the cards based on the cards. It's more like there's a message for you here, and these cards are but just this divine anchor points. These are like languages that are there for you to decode whatever is going on. So no need to be worried or like anything about anything. It's just gonna be all good. And I'm certain that I'm not the only one who's gonna be telling you stuff like this. I'm sure you are getting multiple synchronicities of messages as such. So I'm sending you lots of love. I am honored to be in your presence of awareness, and I am so grateful for your existence, because without you, our grid would be less powerful. It wouldn't even exist. Okay, thank you. Bye.